Hey, this is Sir Charles Carey. I want you to join me on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. for the Tru-Mu podcast, True Music. That's where we talk about all things.
I'm a musician, singer, songwriter, producer, engineer.
All things creative.
Me and my co-host, Carl T. Smith, the smooth one, will be glad to hear you, glad to talk to you, answer your questions, and talk all things music. The Tru-Mu podcast, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Be part of the energy.
I can see that thing that makes men stop standing still, all in denial, suffer loss of will.
As the smooth one would say, "What's up, Facebookins?"
That's right.
Hasn't said that in a minute. What's going on, C?
Same old SOS, same old stuff, man.
Okay.
Same old things. How about yourself?
I'm grateful, man. Grateful. Another day. It's funny. I wasn't feeling so good about a week or so ago, and I'm a man of faith, so I realized, whether you're going through something good or bad, if you're alive, you still got a fighting chance. So I said, thank you for the pain, and I really meant that, because even though I didn't feel good and I don't want to feel pain, at least I can feel it beats the alternative.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, for real.
Yo, man, of all the instruments you play, Carl, did you say you play drums too, or percussions, or both?
Yeah, just a little bit, not much. Play drum machine.
Oh, okay, that counts.
I mean, a little, like I can keep a couple of beats and things like that, but
okay. All right, well, today we got a drummer. And what about DJing? You DJ also?
a little bit. I used to do, on the radio station and stuff like that. But
Okay.
Chris DJs.
Really?
Yeah, she got the technique.
Let me find out.
And everything and all that stuff. Records.
The Spinderella before the Spinderella. Let me find out.
Yeah.
Well, we got a guy today, folks, that he DJs, he drums. Man, I love this guy. I've known him for a number of years. We played music together, and I'm not going to belabor the moment. None other than pioneering DJ Louie Lou. Lou.
Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? What's up, world? What up, Facebook, Charles?
Showing up like the celebrity you are, my man. What can you say, right?
I'm just down to earth and just live life, man. That's all you can do is just live life.
Okay, well, look, before we get into the meat and potatoes of why you're here, I wanted to ask you, because I hear different things in the industry, and they say that albums or records are coming back. Have you heard about that? Is that something you know about?
Yeah, that's something that started years ago, though, man. I want to say it's over 5 years ago, man, that they've been talking about bringing vinyl back.
Right.
You have this new generation now that's buying vinyl, and that's cool. It's cool. Vinyl is good. It's a whole different sound because MP3s take so much away from vinyl.
Yeah. So if someone is interested in, they have their own little collection, or they have a collection from back in the day, and they wanted to get turntables or a turntable, whatever it may be, what would you suggest they do? Because I've seen things in Walmart, Target. Is that a good look, or do you suggest something different?
Guitar Center.
Okay.
Yeah. Walmart is. Walmart has some all right stuff, but if you want like a decent type of a turntable, I would definitely go to Guitar Center. They have all types of turntables over at Guitar Center.
Hey, is that music in your background?
Yeah.
Oh, can you minimize that for us?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And let me get that bass behind you. I'll take the bass guitar.
Bass guitar. You ever heard of Krung? You ever heard of Krungbin?
Can't say that I have.
It's a group called Krungbin. I listen to them a lot. It's just instrumentals. That's all it is.
Really?
Good vibes, good feel, good music. It's spelled KHRUNGBIN. and so forth. Krung and Bin.
Okay.
And it's really good stuff, man. It's very
Okay.
spiritual music, man.
Nice. Nice. Good to meditate or just listen to, huh?
It really is good stuff to meditate to. Just relax.
Cool.
I mean, nothing with words that directs you in this area and that area. It just leaves you neutral, right in that area where you just want to relax and just chill.
Neutrality. Okay, I can dig at that. But look, man, I know there's been a lot going on in your camp lately, so I wanted to ask you about the most recent venture under your umbrella of things that you've done. We know that you're a pioneering DJ. You play with Tila Rock. You play for a lot of people. You've traveled the world because of music and by DJing. I still put you up against anyone else when it comes to drumming. I don't care if they're world renowned or not, but I've always liked your drumming style. But what's this new venture?
Well, now this new venture is where I just got back into drumming about 3.5 years ago, maybe almost 4 years ago. I
Okay.
mean, you remember that drum set I used to have when we were free band back in
Was
the
it
day?
black or was it blue?
It was a blue. It was like a silver sparkle blue type of
Yeah,
drum
yeah,
set,
yeah.
and the brand on it was U.S. Mercury. It
Okay.
wasn't Tama or Premier or anything like that.
Okay.
Our budget was like on a shoestring,
No
or
doubt.
or on a food stamp back in the days, man, when we was trying to keep it together. So I'm just keeping it real. You know what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying? I mean, our PA system was the bass amp.
Yep.
Everything came to the bass custom amp. That was our PA system back then.
Yep.
But yeah, man, right now I'm doing a lot of stuff with the band. Um, I had lost my U.S. Mercury drum set
Okay.
in the late, I want to say like mid to late 90s.
Right.
And I didn't even notice they were gone. Someone had broken into the apartment, stole the drum set, and I didn't even realize until several years later. So that's how
Okay.
long it's been since I was away from drums. But just recently, since that, I just stood away from the drums and I was just programming stuff on the drum machine, yada, yada. And for Mr. Wave from the New York City Breakers, back in the days, I produced some stuff for him. He wanted to touch waters on doing some rapping. And he usually just does a lot of breakdancing. He's a legend. Mr. Wave, you can find him anywhere on YouTube. Everyone knows who he is. Most
Right.
he's a household name, Mr.
But
Wave.
what about this new venture that you recently, been not known for, but it's something that's new in your life? The literary aspects of this book.
Oh, as far as the book is doing well. The book is doing well. Um, there's quite a bit of stuff there that should be personal, but I had to put it in there anyway because it's stuff that happened in my life, and it was a really bad area that I was at. And this is when I
Okay.
moved from New York City to Rhode Island, and
Okay.
between '94 and '95. And when I moved to Rhode Island, and when it was a whole different world, man. It was a whole different, like, you got to work to make your money, get a paycheck. No one knew who I was out there at the time, and I
So
did.
what made you want to write a book though? Is it the bad experience or experiences?
I wanted to write a book because there's a lot of people out there who know who I am, but they act like they don't know me.
Oh,
But
okay.
they know who I am. That's one of the reasons. You know what I mean?
Set
And
the record straight.
especially I always played the background. I always played the background. I was still like real quiet. So I thought it would be best to bring all this up to light on who had things to do with the birth of Def Jam, with Rick Rubin, with Tila Rock, with Special K from the Treacherous Three, who was on Enjoy Records, on Sugar Hill Records. Um, and all the other people who I knew, and Mantronics, Joyce Sims, rest her soul, who we've all worked together. So there's a lot of people. Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth. I work with so many people and perform with so many people, but a lot of people stay hush for some reason. They're like, don't say nothing. Don't let them in the front door. Keep the door closed. Don't let them in the front door.
Gatekeepers, huh?
Yeah, man. It's like,
Or,
don't open the front door. Leave it closed. Don't let them in. And there's a lot of people, man, who act like that, man. I'm like, bro, I thought we was cool like that, man. And
right.
show me no love like that, man. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was a good time for me to just um, write this book. I thought it was a good and just lay it down on what really happened with Rick Rubin, Tila Rock, Greg Nice, Mr. Wave, uh, and just so many other people, man, that are
Okay.
involved. And what I went through personally and what I sacrificed for my wife and children. You know what I mean? Because the music thing, you got to sacrifice a lot. It's not like it's a constant money flow thing. You
Yeah,
know,
people don't understand that. Yeah, you're right.
you have to really hustle to get that money flow. And I'm new in Rhode Island. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nobody knows who I am, this and that. I mean, someone knew who I was. I went to a record store, High Tone Records in downtown Providence, and I'm shopping around. And the guy who was working there, he was like, yo, man, you look familiar, man. And I'm like, yeah, I get that a lot, I told him. So I kept shopping for records. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
after about 5, 10 minutes later, he was like, yo, man, your name is Louie? I'm like, yeah. He was like, you're Louie Lou, right? You're Tila Rock's DJ. And I'm like, yeah. How you know that? And he just pulls the record out and he shows me the record with my picture on it. I'm like, yeah, man, that's me, man. That's me. That's me.
So good. So what inspired the title? Deaf to the Jam.
I had to put a deaf ear, man, on a lot of jams, on a lot of. It's part of the sacrifice. It's part of the sacrifice. I had to put a deaf ear on my DJing, on my drumming, a lot of my musical abilities. I had to put a deaf ear to it, man, and put it to the side, man. I had to
Does that,
put
does that mean
foot.
like turning away from it?
I had to move away from it, man, and get a job, man, and something where I'm able to put food on the table, pay my bills every month. Something that was solid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna lie. I'm just really being honest with you. For
Right.
some people, I see them and I'm like, and I even have personal friends who will be asking, "How is it you guys do it? How do you do it? Where you don't have to work a regular job and you could just DJ and you could just play with a band and you could just always have money to be able to pay your bills." You know what I mean? So it's different for everyone, man. And you really have to know the business. You really have to know how to pimp yourself. You have to be so constant. There's another word for constant that I want to use, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But you have to be so into it um, to build that reputation, to build that name. And for me, I was like, I got to get a job, man. I got to
I
get a job.
understand.
That's the only thing mentally that I knew that was solid, that was a paycheck every week. So I could pay my bills, so I could put food on the table, feed my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I had to put all of that to the side, man. You know what I'm saying? But that was in the beginning stages of 1995 in Rhode Island. That's when I first left New York. That's when I completely finally said goodbye, New York. You know,
Carl, what you got?
So when you wrote this book, was this a long process? You was doing it over time, or you just kind of had all the stuff and pulled it together like right away?
it was over time. It took a long time for me to put this book together, some research, because there were people that I met through my journey, especially people like Bobby Robinson. I don't know if that rings any bells, but Bobby Robinson was the owner of
Silver
Enjoy.
Hill, right?
Huh?
Was he related to Sylvia or
Nah, he wasn't related to Sylvia. No, there's no relation to them. But Bobby Robinson was the owner and CEO of Enjoy Records.
did he have a record shop?
Correct. He
On
had a
120 between 125th and 26th Street.
I can't recollect where, but I went to his record
Yeah, right on
store,
8th Avenue.
and
Okay.
he had a recording studio in the back, and all
Okay.
the hits came out of there. All of the hits came out of there. I mentioned it in my book when I met Bobby Robinson, rest his soul, man. He was a cool brother. And in the back of the record store, he's even dealt with the stylistics. He's worked with the stylistics, so many other R&B groups. But Bobby saw that there was this big thing happening with rap, and he jumped into it, and he just opened up a label called Enjoy Records, and that's where Spoonie G was born.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's 125th, 126th on 8th Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I went over there, man, with Special K. It was me and Special K who went over to Bobby Robinson's studio. It was my first time over there. And Special K had to talk with Bobby Robinson. And they went into the studio where the mix board and all the main equipment was at. You know what I'm saying? So they were in there, and I walked into the studio where the musicians play at. And I saw the drum set, and it was Pumpkin's drum set. Rest his soul, legendary. He played so many hits. He's a drummer. Pumpkin was a drummer, Hispanic drummer, and he played so many hits for so many early rap songs. This is before the drum machine. This is when rap songs were coming out with bands. It was bands that were playing the rap songs back then.
Gotcha.
So this was Pumpkin back in the days, and I saw the legendary drum set, and I sat down and I just started messing around on the drums. And straight ahead, I could see Special K and Bobby Robinson like at each other, like they were arguing or talking about business, business stuff. And they're like, but this, that. And I just see all the arms moving and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, they're busy. So let me mess around on this drum set. And I'm messing around. I'm playing beats. And I'm just playing old school beats, just some funk, some disco. You know what I'm saying? So after about maybe almost half hour, Bobby Robinson and Special K coming to the studio. This studio was huge. It was huge. The drum set was all the way to the back, and there was plenty of room for a bass player, guitar player. You could have had like a horn section, a string section to the other side. It was a pretty good sized studio. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
What Bobby had in there. But I was all the way in the back, and I'm messing around on the drums. And Special K and Bobby Robinson came in, and I'm still playing. I didn't stop. I just kept playing beats. And Bobby Robinson was looking at me, and he's rubbing his chin. And then he looks at Special K while he's rubbing his chin. And Special K looks at him, and he kind of reads Bobby Robinson's look. And Special K looks at me, and he looks back at Bobby Robinson, and he goes, nah, nah, man, nah, nah. So you know what that meant, right? Bobby Robinson is like, yo, why don't you let Lou continue to play on the drums, and you just spit some rhymes? Because later on, Bobby Robinson could get the guitar player, a bass player to start adding some music to it, and just
Right.
come up with just a straight up. But Special K was like, nah, nah, nah. And I was like, fuck. Damn.
So it's funny you're talking about that because I saw Big Daddy Kane playing down here in Waldorf, Maryland about I think it was last year, and he had a live band. So it's going right back. Not all not all hip hop artists are doing it, but he went back to a live band and he was like having them play all of his hits, and in a way he was conducting the band as he was playing some of his songs, and it was really a good show. Nothing like a live band, no matter what kind of music. I think.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's nothing like having a live band playing all the hip hop songs from back in the days. That is a real show. But when you're playing an MP3 or a record, and you got some dances and he's emceeing, that's
That can
cool.
work, but it's still not the same.
What's that rapper's name? I'm trying to remember. And it was for a Super Bowl. He did a great job. Oh gosh,
I was going to
him
ask you about him. I was going to ask you,
and Drake had some beef with each other. I'm trying to remember his name.
not Kendrick Lamar, right?
That's it, Kendrick Lamar. And he did a concert. He did the halftime thing. Remember?
Yeah. How did you like that?
I thought it was dope, but it was missing something. If he had a live band playing everything he was doing, it'd have been top notch. He
Did you
needed.
see it, Carl?
Piece of it.
I saw the entire thing from beginning to end, and
I
people was
thought it
like,
was fly.
I thought it was dope, but it was like because he was playing MP3s and everything else. But if he had a band and the bass player, guitar player, drummer just rocking it, you know what I'm saying? All of his hits, it'd have been astronomical.
Well,
And a
suppose
lot
he
of
would have had a DJ. How would that have came across to you?
if he had a DJ,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he's back there and he's playing MP3s, he's playing the songs. But if you have a band and he's doing his thing on the mic, and you got the dancers, you got a drummer, you got a guitar player, you got your keyboard player, you got the lights and everything going on, and they playing live. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for
That,
sure.
these days, that's a real show. That's a real show if you have a band playing for you. To
I
me,
thought his, I thought his performance was excellent for the culture and for hip hop in particular. Of course, I'm not a rapper. I've never, well, I can say I never rap, but I'm not a rapper. I'm not known for rap or hip hop. But
you've done rap, Charles. You forgot.
I know. But I'm just
You
saying.
remember that part? What we used to do must be the
Oh
music.
yeah, Secret Weapon.
Yeah, the MC part would come on and you
Oh
start doing
yeah,
the thing. You know
just
what I'm saying?
dance,
So,
everybody,
yeah,
everybody, just clap. I still
yeah,
remember it too.
yeah, man. Used to get down and rap.
But I really appreciate your diverse talents from DJing, drumming, and now that you've become an author. I'm hoping that you'll get more interviews to talk about the book. Is there anything in particular about the book? Without telling everything, because we want people to pick this book up. Is there anything, maybe a short story, you can tell us from the book that may be additionally enticing or interesting?
I think the most enticing part in the book is the creation of Def Jam.
Can you tell us a little bit about that without giving it all away?
Yeah, the creation of Def Jam. Um, I just want to say that when the beat was created, and I was part of that, and Rick Rubin was so excited, and he looked at me and Tila Rock, and he said, "Man, this record is so deaf. I'm going to put it on a label and call it Def Jam. And I'm going to put the tone arm from the Techniques B1 turntable on the cover, the cardboard cover, and on the label." And me and Taylor Rock, we looked at each other, man, and we're like, that's the corniest shit we ever heard, man. We like it on the inside. We like the way you guys are doing it. So me and Taylor Rock look at each other. We're like,
What does white dude know about hip hop? He gonna put whatever, dude. I know. I feel
you
you.
know, we give it that look to each other, like, fuck out of here, man. What the fuck? But who knew, man? It turned out to be one of the biggest rap labels
Millions and millions of dollars later, right?
in hip hop history.
Yeah.
And I also said, I also noted in there the last time me and Rick Rubin saw each other after It's Yours came out. I'm not going to go any more into that, but in the book it explains what happened after me and Rick Rubin saw each other face to face and where it was. You know, um, but I think that's a big highlight there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of Def Jam, the birth of Def Jam, where I witnessed it. I've also worked with Rick Rubin on that beat, and Special K was like, "Yo, Lou, man, what?" No, he told Rick Rubin, "Yo, Rick, let Lou do some stuff on it, man. He's a drummer. Let him do some stuff on it, man." And Rick was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool." And I sat down, I programmed the fill on the Roland 808, the original Roland 808, you know. And me and Tila Rock, we were fanatics for bass like that. Boom, ba, boom, gong. So I went and I added more decay because on the Roland 808, it's called decay on the bass drum. So you can add more decay. So you turn up the decay more and you get that boom. And we added that to it, man. And believe it or not, man, that record was so famous here in Florida because of that.
Wow.
I did concerts with Two Live Crew, man, and
I'm gonna say maybe that's how Florida started getting crazy with the bass sound because Florida was definitely known for a lot of bass in their songs.
it was pretty much just about almost an introduction to music beats with a lot of boom, boom, gong, gong, gong. So they started using a lot of the decay. And me and Tila Rock, we used to be throwing jams, man, and we used to just put so much bass on the beats and stuff we did at the jams, and even other jams me and Tila Rock would go to, and we would sit well, not sit, but we would stand literally in front of the speakers, and me and Tila Rock, we giving each other pounds and just grabbing each other's shirts, and we like, with
You
our
can feel that
faces,
rumble.
with our
Yeah.
faces all wrinkled, like, yeah, it was crazy, man. Me and T was crazy back then, man.
I'm sure you have. Have you worked shows with Bismarcky?
Yeah, I remember. Well, we never did a show together, but I remember going to a couple of shows, Bismarcky shows, when he first came out, and I was right there, front and center, back in the days. There was barely anyone around back in the days when him and
I was so surprised that a lot of people did not respect him. Now, music listeners and music lovers or hip hop lovers probably did, but I did a show with them at Nassau Coliseum. I was promoting was Two Live Crew, Bismarcky, and BDP, and these guys were just like dissing the mess out of business. I just could not understand it because maybe he wasn't at the peak of his celebrity, but he was very well known, and they were just talking mad junk to him and disrespecting him. But I just never understood why. Maybe it was just that group of guys. I don't know.
You just have to be tenacious when it comes to hip hop. You have to be very tenacious. You have to build that respect. Stay with it. Continue with it. If you don't, then people gonna act like I don't know who he is, man. I met him before. I know who he is, but I
Right.
don't know who he is, and that's what they do to me because I had to just move away, man, to do what I had to do for
Yeah,
my.
but you're a pioneer in the craft. You may not have been there day one, but you were there not too far after it started. Because I know Cool Herc and Cedric Ave and all them. They were really responsible for the birth of hip hop or rap as we know it today.
Yo,
Uh,
let me tell you something. Even before I got down with Free Band, and I
yeah,
remember the first jam I went to back in the days, and it was this cat who was out there, and he had two turntables, but it was like a house stereo, one here, and another house stereo over here. You
right,
know what I'm saying? And he had all these speakers just bunched up. And when one turntable was finished, he threw the other one on. But he had both of them. These were home systems, and he
right,
had them hooked up to a PV amp. It was kind of like a PA because back in
right.
the day, PV would have like these big brain things, and it
Yep,
had all these channels back in the days, bass, mid, treble, everything else. So he had both of those home systems hooked up to that, and he was playing. Damn, I remember, and it was from the Jackson Five. Do you remember "Hum Along and Dance"?
yeah, I think so.
Down, 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 get it, get it, get it, get it, get it.
Was it
Hum
Get It
along.
Together?
No, hum along and dance. That song
Oh,
was like 10 minutes long from the Jacksons 5. I think that came out in 1975, 1976. And me
you
and my
remember
son,
that, Carl?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
it's called Hum Along and Dance from the Jacksons
Okay,
5. And this was 75, 1976. And this is before I got down with Free Band. And I
right,
was
right, right.
there and I was just checking the whole thing out. And I'm like, oh. And he's just blasting away, man. Hooked up to that PV system where he had all the speakers hooked up to the PV amp and everything else. And he had two home systems. And when I say home systems, for example,
The entire stereo console.
turntable number one had the AM, FM, 8 track.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? With the
yeah,
long thing, you could stack a bunch of records. And
yeah.
then
I remember.
a little mixer in the middle, and then he had the second system, which was the same thing, a different model. They were matched. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah,
plugged into the mixer. Then out of the mixer, it would go right into this PV uh, 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 mixer console thing, where it had like different channels. so you could plug in multiple mics and you could EQ them and everything else.
Right.
And they always look like brains, like bass amps or guitar amps back in the days, not like boards that we have now these days. Back in the days, everything looked like a big brain amp back in the days. But this was back in the mid 70s. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. This was right up the street from where I lived on Sheridan Avenue.
Sheridan Avenue. Yeah.
And there was a band who always showed up over there. And there was a band who actually came out with several hits later on. You remember that song, I Hear Music in the Street,
Oh yeah.
I Hear the Funky
That was a
Beat.
bad track.
It was that band. I can't remember the name of the band. I got the record. But they did that, and they did a searching, da-da-da-da-da-da,
Oh
searching.
yeah. Searching to find the one.
Yeah. They
Was that
did
the BBQ band? Nah.
Now that's not the BBQ band, but that band used to always come to the block parties on Sheridan Avenue up on 165th Street. They always had block parties, barbecues, and everything. That band used to come out there, and I'm right there. And I'm checking out the
It
drummer.
wasn't Ray and them, right?
And nah, it was. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, not
No,
that. Okay.
it wasn't Ray. And I used to watch them back in the days before they got picked up by Prelude Records.
Prelude, yeah,
Came
they
out.
were, yeah, no
They
doubt.
came out with their single. I'm like, oh shit, that's that band. So it really tripped me out, man. I saw a lot of stuff back in the day.
So where do you think, or where are you hoping, for your book to take you, man? Like, we're talking about this book, Death to the Jam. You finally got it out. Do you plan on talking about the story more? Do you plan on, maybe, I don't know, doing something more with it? You got you got the book here, the turntables, the double cassette
Yeah,
boom box.
I'd like to get picked up by. I would love to get a call from Drink Champs.
Ah,
I would love to get a call from Drink
you ever
Champs.
work with Nori?
No, I never worked with him, but
Reach out, man. Reach out.
I would not mind working with Nori. I would love to get picked up by Drink Champs. I tried reaching out to DJ Charlie Chase. He knows who I am, but he's one of them cats, man, that just acts like he don't know who I am when he does.
It's all
Yeah.
good. What about
We
Charlamagne?
didn't even have a picture together. We're posing and everything, and I'm like, "Yo, Charlie, man, why you treating me like a wet food stamp, man? What's going on?
Can't spin it. It's,
But you
you can't
love me,
spin it.
man. Come on, we Puerto Rican. I mean, what's up?"
Boricua, ¿qué pasó, bro?
So,
Dígame. I understand.
I mean, his own boy, me and his own boy, man, Grandmaster Cass, we follow each other, man. Me and him was chopping it up when I saw him a while back. You know,
Right.
and we gave each other pals, and I even got a picture up there on Instagram, me and him over at the Fearless Awards.
So what's the difference? I know the book talks about your life with music from every aspect as a DJ, maybe even as a drummer. I haven't read it yet. I was hoping I would get a chance to do a forward for you, but oh well, maybe on the next book. But look,
I'm working on it.
what's the difference between a DJ that plays parties, and I kind of know the answer, but I just want to get your perspective because you are a DJ, and a DJ that plays at a radio station. What's the difference?
At a radio station, it's just so much easier. You could pretty much throw just about anything on at a radio station. But when you're in front of a live audience, you really have to read that crowd, man. You gotta,
Mm,
you gotta read that crowd, man. You gotta check them out, and you gotta make sure that you're playing the hits, nothing but the hits. Whatever's going on in that town, whatever's hot in that town, you have to do a little bit of homework, man, ahead of time. Let's say if you're going somewhere, let's say if you're going to Seattle, what's popping in Seattle? Before that day, you got to check out what's the hits and make sure you have those records, man, because you want to play those records, man, those hot hits. That's banging in Seattle. You know what I mean? Before the rest of the stuff that you're used to playing, but you just got to play none but hits and definitely read the crowd. If you don't pay attention to the crowd, you just get into your own mindset, whatever it is. Forget it, man. It doesn't work that way, man. You always got to check the crowd and get on the mic, man. Just be on the mic.
Do
You know?
you do that? Do you spin and talk on the mic when you play?
Yeah, man. I do. I
Hey, I
do.
never asked you, but do you rap?
I don't rap. I could if I want to and keep a steady beat. You know
Nice.
what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you have to study the crowd and just play the hits, nothing but the hits, just the hits. No underground music, nothing like that. You got to play the hip hop, the main hip hop shit that's popular with everybody, all the R&B songs, everything that's popular. And if you take it back to the old school, they love that shit. When you go back and it's popular, the hits, you just want the hits, and you take them back. And you just throw it on. You hear everybody in the crowd like, "Oh, you know how it goes."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody throws their hands like that's that shit. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
So what's the well, I don't know if the question should be what's the difference? How do you look at today's hip hop versus when you were playing?
It's more controversial now. Um, Definitely, without a doubt, it's definitely more controversial now. Um, I mean, I love my old school. I love hip hop. I'm actually more into EDM, old school freestyle from the '80s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't diss it. I mean, it is what it is. It's just all part of evolution. Hip
What?
hop continues
Mhm.
to grow and change into different ways. You know what I mean? And eventually, who knows? It'll probably just go right back to the beginning again, man. You
So
know,
when
just
you say
like
controversial, do you mean the subject matter or what's controversial?
personal, like really personal.
Like
You know,
beefs with each other, different
yeah,
artists?
yeah, man. Like, I mean, that was even beefs back in the days too, man. But now it's more like back. I mean, back in the days, it wasn't really too much like f you and I did your wife and this and that and back in
In the
the
material or you mean on the personal side?
it's just different, man. I think the South Side is a little, and they don't call it Dirty South for nothing. They call it Dirty South because it's dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They do. They call it Dirty South.
Yeah.
And, it's just different, man. And I don't just feel it that way. You know what I mean? It just sounds a little more aggressive, a little more like I'll fuck you up or don't fuck or cock his shit up and everything. And it's like, and back then it was a little more like, lottie dottie. We like to party. We don't
We
cause trouble. We don't
we
bother.
don't bother nobody. We just yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
right now it's a little more hardcore. Where it's like, ah, it's dirty, called Dirty South for a reason. I don't have nothing against it. I mean, I play it. I mean, I play the radio versions. You know what I'm saying? But even the radio versions, I remember I did this gig, man, and I was playing some Dirty South, and I was playing the radio versions. And it was for a school, a high school, and I'm playing the clean versions, and the principals and the teachers were coming up to me like, "Yo, you said it would be clean." I'm like, "It's the radio version." You know what I'm saying? And they were still
Right.
playing it to me like, "Yo, that shit is horrible." You know what I'm saying?
Even the clean version, they was wow.
It's offensive. Even the clean version was offensive. You know what I'm saying? And this
Yeah.
was out here in Florida. This was right here in
Wow.
Florida, and playing the clean versions was still offensive, man. You know what I'm saying?
What you
And
got, Carl?
So as you release the book, right? And things get going with the book, right? What are your plans after this book?
well, right now at the same time, I'm jamming with my band, the Generation Band, and I'm also producing a new song with a new singer that I have, and her name goes by Sizzler.
What type of music?
and it is
EMD.
R&B. It is R&B,
R&B. Okay.
funky rhythm and blues, man. Some Mary J shit, you know. And I
Oh,
got some
okay.
chords. Yeah, I got to do the drums, the chords. Um, I play the bass. I actually play the bass. I have several Fender Jazz basses, and I play them. And she's gonna sing to it, man. She's gonna sing to it. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I'll be
How
putting
far
it
along?
back.
How far along are you? With this project?
And I'm hoping by wintertime the song would be out. We
Okay.
have we have a couple songs, man, that I put together, and her and I we're still actually supposed to get together this Saturday so we could do some work on it. I'm also doing some work with a young man by the name of Michael Charlton, and we have a song by the name of "She's an Entertainer." And I'm doing some work with him also, man. It's another R&B jump off that I'm doing.
Is that a
Mhm.
follow up to the last one you did with Michael?
Yep. So you recognize the name Michael Charlton. So we have a song. It's called "She's an Entertainer," and but this is hard, man. This is hard body,
Harder
hard,
than Deja Vu?
huh?
Harder than Deja.
Oh yeah, yeah. He actually falls in love with a stripper, and,
Okay.
and it's
Sounds like a hit to me.
it, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get her out that life. You know what I'm saying? So it's heavy duty, man. It's hard body. This song is hard body. She's an
Nice.
Entertainer is the name of the song, and it's going to be by Michael Charlton. I'm producing all of the music on it, and this new song that I'm working on actually is three songs that I'm working on with Sizzla, and we have not come up with a title yet, but the songs are dope. The songs are dope, and she's about to put the lyrics to one of the three songs this coming Saturday
Nice.
after band rehearsal because I have band rehearsal this Saturday because we're trying to get ready for Good Times Club in Orlando, Florida, and we have a 30 song set list. So 30 songs, um, three sets, and there's a lot of stuff in there, man. Amy Winehouse and you name it, man. Just all kinds of stuff, man. Gloria Gaynor and uh, Gladys Knight. It's just so much stuff. Just a lot of chart music that we're gonna do. So we're practicing this weekend uh, for good times.
All right. So we have a new segment where we say thumbs up, thumbs down. We name the song or the artist or the writer or the producer, and you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. And if you're in between, you can do sideways. So we're gonna throw some names at you, and we just want to get your feedback. Okay?
Sideways is like neutral, right?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yep,
Like
yep, yep.
look, hardcore hip hop, dirty south.
Ah! No, no, don't get it twisted. I do love my hardcore hip hop. I mean, it's hard to defend because I have grown children. I also have grandkids. You know what I'm saying?
You look mad young, son.
Nah,
Son,
that's because that's because I'm wearing the hat and I'm wearing the glasses. I don't want my grades to show.
it's
So
all good.
so I got the kid in play top. Believe it or not,
It's all good. That works
leave
too.
it all off on the side and just let it grow up on the top. I'm letting it turn into dreads for real.
Are you ready to play the game?
All right, shoot.
DJ Reggie Wells.
100%.
All right.
The legend.
DJ Hollywood.
That's my man.
Oh, word, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a story in there. I mentioned him in my book of when I first,
Okay.
and I didn't even know he was Hollywood until I met him, and that was at my junior high school graduation. It's in the book.
Nice.
It's in the book.
Nice. DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club. Okay.
I met him also
A word? Okay.
in Massachusetts.
What about Spinderella?
That's my home girl, man.
Ah,
That's my home girl. What? We
that's
from the
what's
same
up.
hood. Me and Spinderella. I remember she used to be looking for Tila Rock. She used to be knocking on my girl's door, man, when I was hanging out with my wife. Well, before she was wifey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She should be like, do. My wife would open the door, my girl, Maria. She would open the door, like, and she would be like, yo, is Louie Lou there? She would be like, and my wife was like, yeah, hold on a second, I'll get him. Because, Spinderella was looking good, like a motherfucker. So I would go over to the door. She was like, yo, you know what Tila Rock is? I was like, nah, I haven't heard from him all day. You know what I'm saying? So after that, I closed the door. My wife was like, who's that? You know how I know. Cinderella, she wore the tight jeans and everything, and she got the dog, and she like with two other girls. So you know how it is.
Yeah. All right. What about Ken Spiderweb?
Who?
Ken Spiderweb from
BLS.
WBLS.
Come on, man. He's a
I'm taking you back, Lou. Okay, all right, all right.
oh, man, that's the beginnings, man.
I know. All right, how about Frankie Crocker, the Chief Rocker?
I love him to death, man.
If Frankie wasn't on your radio wasn't really on.
We actually have a record with Frankie Crocker, and I have it on a 45. It's an old school record, and it's a ballad, man. And he's
Really?
singing on it. Well, he's actually like reading like some poetry on it. And at the very end of the song, he says, "I'll go to hell just to be with you." And
Oh, word.
it's dope. I swear to God, man. I have a 45 here of Frankie Crocker, and it says Frankie Crocker on the label. And it's a
All right.
song. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's one of those doo-wop songs from back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about DJ Khaled?
Oh, he's dope, man.
Okay.
He's a hell of a businessman.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I
man.
got a good one for you. Larry Levan.
Oh shit, man. He's a legend. Rest in peace, Larry.
Yeah, no doubt. House music
What?
specialty. Yeah.
I used to be back in the club over there when he was over at the garage, man, and you taking ecstasy and everything, be like, with
See,
all the house
I ain't know you was up on that. So you know about Mike Stone?
Oh yeah. No, Mike Stone, no, you fucked me up.
Same thing, same era. They was running all those parties at the Palladium, the garage.
But Levon,
Yeah.
I have remixes, man, of him.
Nice.
And he's done. He's a legend, man. It's a shame, man, that
I
we
saw a
lost.
documentary on him on YouTube. It was really eye opening.
And the turntables he used to use, my God. And I'd be like, how the hell did you get tight mixes on those turntables, man? They were belt drive. Oh man, I'm trying to remember the brand on those turntables. And there was a model to them, and I knew what they were.
It must
And
not have been Techniques, and it wasn't Technique.
no, they were not Techniques. And I'd be like, how the hell did Levon get a decent, solid, clean disco mix with these turntables, man? And there were belt-driven turntables, and it was turntables that you remember back in the days. These turntables that you would just poke on the top of the platter, and the turntable would be like it was on shocks or on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was on turntables like that, man. But
Like suspension in the car. It was just like keep it
yeah,
from happening. Yeah.
yeah. But these had pitch control on it. But whenever you would like zigga zigga, not like 1200s where you would be like zigga 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 bam, and it'll go right in. On these turntables that Larry was on, it was like digga 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 digga, and you had to like spin and push it a little bit to get it on beat.
Old school right there.
Yeah, man, that was tough back in the days, man, with these turntables that he was mixing on. I think they were duals, DUAL. I think they were duals. Don't quote me on that, but I think they were duals. But these were really tough turntables. Today they cost a fucking fortune, man.
Carl, you got something else for?
So you got some material coming out. You got a book happening now, and you got a band that's going to play. Well, when you do the gigs with your band, it's all commercial music, right?
All
It's all
chart
hits,
music.
all chart music. Do you
No
ever
originals. No
do you,
originals. We're just giving people like a good show. So we
party
do
show?
a lot of we do like a lot of bar and grill places,
I got you.
corporate parties, you know what I mean? Things like that. And they keep the dust off of my fingers. You know what I mean? The cobwebs. So that way I'm able to just keep playing. And I've gotten a lot better since the free band days. A lot better. I learned a lot since the free band days and how to
That's why
tune.
you still my number one drummer, man. I don't care.
So, you know, I mean, I've learned a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot.
Look, I
As
would take you without any rehearsal to any gig. But trust and believe.
yo, and you know, just knowing how to have that control on your hi hats, on your snares, those ghost hits on your snares, and I learned a lot, man. It took a lot of years. I mean, you guys was listening to me when I was with Free Band, and I was like, whatever, come on, let's go. You know,
Nah, you had
really,
skills. You might, I agree that you probably better, but you had skills then.
you know, but you know, you had to like really check out, you know, the theory of drums and the technique on how to use your snares and using those ghost sounds and you know, and jazz, you know, I really learned a lot
You
from the.
still have brushes?
Oh yeah, I got brushes, I got all kinds of stuff, man. I have several drum sets, electronic ones. But back then we was like I said, we was on a food stamp budget back in the days. Whatever, yo, let's chip in. Remember Ron back in the days? He was like, "Yo, we got to chip in, man. I got to pay for this electricity, man."
Oh
Yo, Ron
yeah,
was like some shit, you know, and it just freaked me out.
we had a bank account and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Darren said some shit online about, and Darren was always saying this shit, and Ron used to say this shit too, man. I love him, man. I do miss him a lot. I really do. And they used to say, "Yo, man, where you coming out the side of your neck, man? You always coming out the side of your neck, man."
Imazai, right?
Yeah, man.
All that stuff. So look, how can people tell people how to get is it hard copy or just electronic right now?
Right now, you can just get the hard copy. What is a soft paperback? And right now, I'm halfway through the oh gosh, I keep forgetting. Uh, where all you have to do is just the sound. You can just download it, and it's actually me reading the
Or
book.
you have an audio book?
An audiobook. I'm working on an audiobook. I'm halfway through. And what I like about the audiobook is I'm able to add other things to it. Because in this day and age, people don't have time to be like reading. You know, all they want to do is just download, put on the ear pods, drive, and listen. You know,
Right.
so I'm actually working on an audio book right now. I'm halfway through the book, and I've actually added quite a few extra things that's not in the book, and that will be coming at you by the end of the summer, or probably before the end of the summer, man.
Okay.
You
So
know,
so there's an audio book, we got the electronic version, and you said there is or is not a hard copy.
there is no hard copy.
Okay. All right. Well, what's the link they have to go to get the electronic copy? Where do they go?
Go to Amazon.com, and when you
Forward
get on
slash.
and when you get on Amazon.com and your
Okay.
search, just type in "Deaf to the Jam." It'll pop right up automatically.
Gotcha.
Deaf to the Jam. There's no one else with that title. No,
Right.
Deaf to the Jam. And
You'll send Rick Rubin a complimentary copy. No, I'm stop.
Rick Rubin is rich beyond his dreams.
You already know.
I mean, I thought it was corny at first, but you did it, man. He really did. He really did. And I thought it was corny at first, but I never down anyone's idea because you never know. You never know, man.
Patricia Mitchell says, "Amen. That's so true. Always keep the faith." Yes, Patricia, thanks for coming through. And I agree with you. You always got to keep the faith no matter what part in the journey of life we're on. You have to keep the faith, as Michael Jackson said in his song, keep the faith. Don't let anybody pull you down. You got to know when it's good to go and get your dreams up off the ground.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Facts. Facts.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit about your story and your background, your experience. I know you were on the show before with Enoch, Seventh Prophet, but now you had a chance to talk about your book, and I'm hoping that those of you that have seen tonight's episode, you post your questions on YouTube or you post your questions here on Facebook, and reach out to Louie Lou and go get the book on Amazon. Deaf to the Jam, Deaf DEAF, as in Frank to the Jam, and get your copy and wait for the upcoming audio version of this book. Hold up, there's another comment just came in. That's my cousin Gigi. Nice to be informed by you, Sir Charles, and your crew. Thank you so much, Gigi. Always appreciate your time. But go get this book, get your electronic version, check out his story because he's gone through a lot of challenges and a lot of experiences, and he's been around the world. He's done some things. So I'm sure it's going to be a very good read.
Yeah, with Medtronic, Just Ice, DMX, who did the beatbox for Just Ice, Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth, Tila Rock, who was the first rapper on Def Jam Records, working with Mantronics also. I did a lot of work with Mantronics, and we've done collabos. And there's a lot of stuff in that book of what's happened in those times and personal things between myself, my wife, sacrificing to make sure that my family um, had what they needed. You know what I'm saying?
It don't get no better than that.
Yeah, Rough Riders also working for the Boston section of the Rough Riders. I still have my T-shirt for the Boston Rough Riders. They wanted me to get down, and I had to turn it down because that's when I was getting ready to move to Florida. So there's a lot of stuff in there, my ups and downs, when I got robbed, all kinds of stuff, man. It's just meeting DJ Jazzy J, working with DJ Jazzy J for the first time in North Carolina with Tila Rock and Jazzy J for the Zulu Nation, and me and him, we did shows together for a while, and there's a story in there with me and him as well. It's crazy, man. It's quite a roller coaster ride. The book is definitely quite a roller coaster ride, man, for real. And I just thank God and I'm humble that I'm still here, man, and I still have my family, and we're still alive, man, to do what we love, and that's play music, man, and make people feel good, man, and enjoy it.
I'll say this before we go. I remember when did New Jack Swing come out in the 90s, right? Like
Yeah,
the early 90s. So that was like 30 some odd years ago. And I remember saying, man, I'll be 65 talking about it's my prerogative. I can do what I want to do. And the funny thing is, I'm already there and I'm singing songs like it's my prerogative. And Carl is singing songs like Roni.
That's right.
nah, no, that's one of the songs that my band plays.
Really? Okay.
We do that. But yeah, man, that's when you're talking about New Jack Swing, man, and the first name that comes to mind is Teddy Riley.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
The
I remember
true,
we was trying to do
the
Rub You the Right
true
Way. I was in love with Rub You the Right Way. That was my jam.
mm.
So Carl, if we go to Florida, at least they got one song of yours they can play.
No, yours.
And the thing about New Jack Swing, man, it was so dope and
No
so
doubt.
popular that Michael Jackson jumped on and called up Teddy Riley. And what did they come out with? Remember the time.
See, I know I keep saying this we're gonna sign off, but you talk about remember the time. I've never been a part of any kind of band or musical unit when things didn't go well, and when Remember the Time was popular at its height. I remember getting released from a band, and that had never ever happened to me, and I was like, "Oh no, how could this happen to me?" But
Wow.
that's when I was in the midst, in the depths of the abyss of being an addict, and I wasn't showing up. In the band, these guys were professionals. They were on the road with Keith Sweat, I mean, all the big groups of the 90s, and they were off the road and they wanted to have their own unit. Remember the Time was crashing the charts, and I was part of the unit singing with them. They had a girl singing named Alicia, and they told the guy who brought me on, I said, look, it ain't gonna work out with dude. He got to go. I wasn't looking the part. I was struggling to hit the notes, and for the first time in my life, I had to face the reality that no matter how much you love music, you're not loving it enough to respect it, and now you're being asked to leave a musical unit because you're not making the cut. I will never ever forget that. That crushed me.
It's all
Remember,
part of music. That's the business, man. You know, that's how it is, man. Because I know what it feels like to get turned down. You know what I mean? I
but just
remember.
like the title of the song, I'll never not remember the time.
I mean, you know, that's how it is. It's all part of the business. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
people.
the ups and downs.
Yeah, there's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster, man. But you know, it's a rocky road. But eventually, you just have to be tenacious and continue on, man. And later on, the road will smooth out. You just have to continue and continue and continue, man. You
Which
can't
is why
stop.
I'm always grateful today. I tell you. All right, folks. Well, I'm not going to hold you up. Lou, again, thanks again for coming on and sharing your story. And we look forward to finding out when the audiobook comes out, next steps, anything fantastic happen. We'd love to have you back, man. So until next time, be part of the energy.
Yes, sir. Amen to that.